Hello everybody, I'm Katie, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a popular books I have never read book tag. Oh, I've been wanting to do this for like a really long time because there are so many books that I have not read which I really should have read, and so many of these have been on my book list for the longest time, like since I probably ever started creating a book list, and I don't know how I just still haven't read them. So I've actually just come back from a trip to London. I went to a music gig last night. I'm a little bit sleepy, but I am so focused and so not ready to do this, but we will do this. We've got drink, we keep hydrated, we do this well, and can I just say I'm sorry now for some of these because it's bad that I haven't read them, but I have reasons why. So I've actually broken this video kind of into three sections, one being childhood reads that I have never read, one is technically like recent adult in my like teens to now, I'm in my 20s, I don't own, and then like current books, which is just going to be fun to get into. But let us start with childhood books. I'm not really sure why I've never read these books. I don't really know. I feel like the books that I like to read now were not books available to me when I was a kid. Like when I was little, books kind of for girls with things like Pony Club and Babysitters, and I like fun stuff like, you know, Harry Potter and magic and sci-fi, even from like a young age. You know, growing up when I was a kid, you know, I loved Disney, but some of my favourite films are like Batman Forever, which is, looking back, not a film you should show your child when she's like 6. But, and you know, things like Bond films, like I grew up watching that stuff. Like Die Hard is like my favourite Christmas film. Like this is the level we're at. So for me, certain books like that I would so love now just didn't seem like available to me. One of said books is The Neverending Story. I've never seen the films, I've never read the books. This is also going along with, I think, The Little Princess and The Secret Garden. I've watched The Secret Garden, I've never read it. If I'm honest, it's just never had an appeal to me. Like, I've just never been fussed about it. Same with The Little Prince. I'm sure it's amazing, I'm sure it's wonderful. When I read it, it should be great. But it's never been a book on my radar that I've been fussed about reading. Same goes with the others. But a girl I used to work with found out that I'd never watched them and never read them and was like, oh my god, how have you never read them? And I was like, because I haven't and I don't care. So she actually got this for me once, I think for Christmas or my birthday, so I will read it. I do actually plan on reading it, but I need to find like the want to be like, okay, like let's read it, because it's actually probably something I probably will really enjoy, but I just need to want to read it. Several of these books are going to be like a rip and a band-aid kind of like saying. I've never read his Dark Materials. I've never read them. Again, books that didn't really seem available to me in my childhood, which I would probably love. I remember seeing the film, that awful film, I remember seeing that. I've never read these, and I'm really looking forward to reading these. If I get time this year, I'm going to start these towards the end of the year. If not, I'm definitely going to read these next year, because I decided to get the 20th editions, anniversary editions, that are beautiful. I had a very tough time picking between hardback and paperback, because the paperbacks are all metallic, like that 20. I don't know, I just kind of love the paperbacks more. Hardbacks more, sorry, because that's what I worked. But yeah, I've never read these. I'm sorry, but yeah, I've never read them. I apologise deeply, but I just haven't. This also goes for like, books like Percy Jackson. I've never read those, and it's all about Greeks, and I know I would love that, and the same with the Egyptian one. I've never read that, but I know I would love it. So these are books that I kind of have like a section. I kind of like section my bookshelves kind of into sort of like recent modern books from my childhood which I should have read, i.e. those, Percy Jackson, and then I've also got like books that I need to reread, which are books like I read ages ago. So I kind of like section it. So I like, when I pick books for the year, I like to try and pick ones off of each of those shelves to keep my shelves like interesting and entertaining for me. Yeah, again, it's like, I don't know why, but these books just didn't really seem like a thing. Okay, so hitting that bracket of like modern books but I don't own, oh my god, I don't even want to say this. Mortal Instruments. I'm sorry, I haven't. And again, this has been a book, like this Cassandra Clare series, both of them, Infernal Devices, has been on my list for like ages. And I kind of thought, after I read Vampire Academy, I would read them, and I never did. I don't know if I saw how big they were and got put off by them, but I I don't know what's happened. Every year when I go to look at what books I kind of want to read, just somehow they just keep being like pushed further and further away. Like to the actual point I don't own them, which is really weird for me because normally I just own these books and never read them and eventually I get to them. But I don't own them and I find it really weird, but I found a set of covers of them that I really want, so I am going to buy them. Again, I think this is going to be another I promise I will read next year. She says, not 100% convinced she will. I'm loving the TV series. I've watched the first series so far and I've really loved it. And I am just like, why haven't you read these yet, you idiot? I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is going to be like the next Band-Aid plaster. Okay, there is a reason for why I haven't read these books, which I will explain once I show them to you. I'm sorry, and I know I should have read them by now, but I haven't, and I'm sorry. Carnival by Stephanie Garber, The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and a Third of Glass series. So before you start freaking out and being like, oh my god, how have you never read these? There is a reason. Okay, so basically for me, I prefer reading a series together, which is suckish when there's like 8 books in a series and I gotta wait nearly 8 years. Personally, I just get more enjoyment out of reading a series together, which is great when it's a trilogy, because now that the last Victoria Aveyard books come out, I'm like, yeah, I can read them all together. But that is just personally like how I enjoy reading books, because I like to just be able to go from one to the other. I find it more engrossing, more gripping. I just love it, and especially being able to read the development so quickly and so together and progress. It is just how I prefer reading books, and also I have like the memory of a goldfish. I can't retain information very well. And you know, when I think about it, if I read Throne of Glass, by the time I read the next one, I would have read so many other books by then. My brain's not great. I try really hard. There's so many popular YA books that come out, because obviously so many come out like all the time and I get really excited about reading them, but I never read them. I buy them and then I keep them. I've still got the Wonder Woman book by Leigh Bardugo on my shelf. I've now also got the Batman Nightwalker one, which is now sat with it. And again, I just like, they just kind of get put to the side. It is a really bad habit of mine, but it does go to the fact that I just prefer reading books together. I just enjoy it that way. I am going to try and break out of doing that because I feel like I'm kind of missing out on a lot, but it's really hard. So I guess now that I'm doing BookTube properly and a bit more, and I'm kind of doing book reviews, I'm kind of thinking actually I can just like rewatch an old one, which would be awful because I hate watching myself back. It's awful. I will sort of be like, oh yeah, this happened, right? Yeah, I've totally got this, that, or I need to start writing post-it notes. When I start the next book, I can just be like, this happened. They are the main reasons, and I hate myself for it. But again, this is like a kind of, depending on what I get read this year, how far into the, my bookshelf I get, because I think I got like 20 books on my list at the moment out of my 25 like reading goal that I'd set myself, which is kind of like changed now anyway. I'm going to try and get some of these in there, so I'm going to try and slip in Throne of Glass as well this year. I'm definitely going to try and slip in the Victoria Aveyard series, but basically this does just come down to my preference of reading and how I find reading books works for me. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm an idiot at all. Yeah, nothing to do with that fact. It's just how I prefer it, which I know might sound really weird, but I just do prefer being able to just read one book after the other. Then on like the flip side of that, when I get caught up in a really long series, I can get a bit like, oh my god, this is so dragging. It's like a tough little bubble I get caught in. So I am going to try and change that habit, but yeah, so those are the books I've never read, along with so many others. That is just a small little portion of what I haven't read, which I do apologise for. It's a little bit shamey. But the thing is, I never lie. I'm never like, oh yeah, I've read that. I'm straight up, I'm like, oh no, yeah, it's on my shelf, I've never read it. I'm honest with my stupidity, I'll put it out there. Tell me popular books that you haven't read. Make myself feel better, because I need it. Because I can feel less silly. How do you prefer to read your books? Do you prefer to read them as and when they come in, or do you like to read them together? Like, am I like the only person who enjoys like this way of reading? I don't know. But yeah, that's what's happened. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will be off next week. I'm on holiday. I actually come back on the Saturday, which is when I normally post a video, so I really doubt I will be able to post anything. So next week I will not be posting anything because I'm away, and then when I come back will be grand, and it'll be like nearly the end of May, which is actually quite scary and I don't like it. But yeah, so I will be this like off for a week, but I will still be posting on Instagram and stuff like always. But yes, I will be missing in action for 1 week only. And you're very lucky I managed to make this because I am very tired. I have so much like laundry I need to like put away, it's ridiculous, and I was just like, we're just gonna shove that to the end of my bed where no one can see it. I'm ready to like sleep now for days. I've had a very, very long week at work, and I have a very, very full-on week coming, and I basically have no downtime because I'm going to the zoo as well on Monday. I like, don't ever say I don't do things by halves. This is what happens. I'm never social, and then suddenly I'm social all in one go, that it's like, oh, exhaustion. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm very, very tired. You can probably tell like the dead look in my eyes as I'm struggling to stay awake and keep focused. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, hit me up with your popular books that you haven't read. Don't make me feel like the only bad one, please. Have a great one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.